Hi Scorpios, how are you? I hope you had a wonderful January, and I wish you an even better February. And I can't believe we're already doing the reading for February. It's crazy how the time went by, how fast everything is going now. But regardless of that, I hope whatever you wanted to achieve in January happened and came through for you. And whatever you want to achieve going into February is going to come through as well. Now, before I start the reading, I just want to mention a few things. We have two things happening in February, which is the new moon in Aquarius on February 4th, and we have the full moon in Virgo happening on February 19th, as well as we have Venus entering in Capricorn in an earth sign, which is February 3rd, Mercury entering Pisces on February 10th, and Mars entering Taurus on February 14th. So given all of those aspects, there's going to be, in the beginning of the month, there's going to be a real importance on relationships, on community. How do you give back to your community? How do you receive help? How do you receive love and support from your community? How do you let the community help you? Also, how do you approach change? What's your relationship towards change? How do you think outside the box when you think outside the box? And how can you better think outside the box to find innovative solutions? And in the second half of the month, we're going to be invited to structure and organize, declutter and clean our homes, our environment, our relationships from any toxicity, toxic habits, toxic, just in general, purge toxic relationships. So, but done in a very tolerant way too, because like with the full moon of Virgo and Virgo being such a perfectionist all the time and nitpicking, just be tolerant to other people's imperfections, because we all are not perfect. And, so just be a little patient with that. Now, also the other thing too, like around mid-month when Mercury enters in Pisces, there's going to be we're going to be like put in a dreamy state where we're going to be invited to really listen to all our senses versus just the judgment, because sometimes it's going to be a very intuitive time. So that's why it's important to listen to all of the other parts of your body, and especially really take care of your gut health around that time. Don't overindulge in foods that you know that might cause you a little problems afterwards. Well, with that said, let's start your reading. So let's see, Scorpios, what's in store for you for this month of February 2019. Okay, I see some changes happening for you pretty quickly, very quickly. Okay, Crown and Queen of Wands in reversed. Okay, so what do we got here, Scorpios? Well, you're moving into the month with the Queen of Pentacles in reversed energy, with the Five of Pentacles and in reversed, and with the Nine of Cups in reversed. Now, with all of these three cards in reverse, I think it was like, again, I think it's the repercussion of the lunar eclipse being felt, where it's gonna shine a light on things in your life that no longer are serving you. And I think this has to do with areas of growth for you. It could also be finances for some of you that you might be struggling with, either finding work or just finding a job, or finding a home, or maybe finding just finances to support yourself and support your family. But all of that, like with the Five of Pentacles in reverse, it's you getting out of that goal. You see the light at the end of the tunnel, even though it might not be exactly what you wanted, but at least know that it's happening. At least you know that there is a solution to it. Again, it might not be how you wanted it to be, but with in the beginning of a month with the new moon in Aquarius, where it's like it's a new start, it's an opportunity for new beginnings. Sometimes it's okay to think outside the box and to think of and accept other ways of other solutions, even though it might not be exactly what you wanted at the moment. but know that it's a stepping stone and you can start building from that, and you can make it however you want it to make. And I say that because we have the Page of Wands following suit. With the Page of Wands, it's like, it's a spark of passion. So you getting out of the feeling of like being left out. So like if it comes to work, I feel like you will find work, even though it might not be exactly what you wanted, but you will find work, you will find a job. And it could also, if it comes to your finances, you will find way to invest, or you will find way to gain. Maybe you might get an increase, but a very small one, but that will spark something in you, like a new beginning, a new way of looking at things, a new just drive for life and for things to move forward. And you're gonna just kind of start the wheel in motion of like things just happening so fast for you. So be really careful around like the beginning of the month, where a lot of things are going to happening really fast. So see how you deal with stress, and see how you be sure that you're able to manage stress, because there is a chance of you regretting things that you either said or you done, or you set in motion that you might not really want it to. So really be mindful of that. Don't really rush into things. Really double check everything. And now with also the King of Pentacles in reverse, and with the 8 of, it's a lot of fast moving energy. So it's going to be a really busy time for you. Now, I'm not seeing so as much of a social life, even though like the beginning of the month with the new moon in Aquarius, it's about community, it's about friendships, it's about getting together with people and letting them support you and you supporting them. So overall, it's going to be a busy social life. So it might be around, maybe it has to do with that. These two fast moving cards. But overall, I think it's a lot of things are just gonna start happening for you, Scorpios, that either you planned or you don't plan to happen. So really be careful of what you want, what you wish for, what you set in motion, so you won't regret it later. Now, we also have the the High Priestess, which is about choices. It's about listening to our feelings. It's all about listening to our intuition, and that will come really into play for you February 10th when Mercury enters Pisces. Mercury, it's all about how we communicate and how we take in information. So with the High Priestess, it's really listen to your senses, listen more, maybe like visualize, maybe I'll pay attention to your dreams around this time, because you might, like, if you're struggling to finding a solution to something, if you're like having a problem with something, or like you can't find how to work something, you might find that in your dream. You might come to you in your dream, or from sources that you didn't think of. So really listen to all of that, all the other senses in you too, and then also follow your intuition, because the gut is, like they say, it's the second brain. So sometimes if you feel awkward about something, if you don't feel really good, if there's something like not sitting with you right, listen to that, because there's a sign and there is a reason why you're feeling that way. Now for some of you too, you might be getting involved into the occult, or like studying things, or maybe getting into tarot, or maybe getting into astrology, or anything like metaphysical, or maybe astronomy even, or maybe taking a course. Especially it could also be in the beginning of the month too, not necessarily just at the end of the month, because with the new moon in Aquarius, we're invited to maybe take on a new class, or maybe start learning something new. So with the High Priestess, I think it might have to do with something that's to do with the occult, but like maybe something that's not as accepted in the general society, or something like that maybe it's a little bit more secretive. So be mindful of that. Some of you too might find that something to do with creation, because with the pomegranate in this picture, it usually has to do with birth, with pregnancy. So I don't know, I have a feeling for very small of you, very small part of you, that might be a chance of pregnancy. But I don't know, maybe you might be getting into a relationship with somebody that has children. So be mindful of that. Now, especially with like the Queen of Wands and the High Priestess. Queen of Wands, it's very it's a confident person. It's it can be a male or a female. It doesn't have to be just a female. But I think with her in reverse, it's really like paying attention to how you feel, paying attention to your environment. Because with the Queen of Wands, yes, she's so confident, and then she's kind of like the, you know, she knows how to work her room. But when she's in reverse, there's that lack of confidence, there's that lack of security in ourselves and how we feel. So that's when that listening to intuition is really come into place. And now the next card, we have the Four of Pentacles in reverse. I think it's all about letting go of control, you know, because when you hold things on too tight, you might miss on other opportunities that might just come if you let things happen in their natural course. So if you're trying to control things from start to finish, and like also with the High Priestess, it's letting everything just happen naturally and just the way they're supposed to, listening to the divine, listen to that divine guidance, and let that be your advice moving forward. And you know, so letting go that of control. Some of you, a really small part of you, a very small part of you also might be that you might be having too much at work to do. They might be like swamped with projects that you might have a really good grasp on. So I think this is where it's really important to you, maybe like ask for help or take on a class that will provide you the guidance information how to handle the certain things that you're not quite knowledgeable on, you know. And for some of you, it might have to do something with finances. And I'm kind of like drawn back to the Queen of Pentacles in reversed. For some of you, you might be like dealing with the same issues that you've dealt at the end of January. So kind of be careful with that. But let me pull some clarifiers and let's see what else comes through. Let's see what other messages come through for you, Scorpio. And I'm using, for the clarifiers, I'm using the After Tarot deck, which I really, really love. Okay. So Queen of Pentacles, the Emperor, again the High Priestess, 2 threes, King of Swords. You're going to be involved with a lot of people around, like you're going to be surrounded by a lot of people, a lot of communication, a lot of just a lot of networking. I feel like it really has a lot of just people around you. Now let's start. So we're going to start. The Four of Cups is clarifying the Queen of Pentacles in reversed. I feel like for some of you, you realized that maybe a relationship wasn't working the way you wanted to, and you kind of just letting it go. You just like, oh, that's just the offer, whatever the offer was presented to you, of like, oh, maybe you're gonna be able to grow in this field, or maybe your business is going to be able to develop, but you're really, no, that's really not for me, and you're not gonna take that. And that was pretty much happening at the end of January. Then we have the Emperor in reverse clarifying the Five of Pentacles in reverse. So your feeling of getting out of the cult is going to happen only once you let go of like that stubbornness. And I think it really has to do with how you see things and how you perceive things. Because if only you see like the negative in the situation, that's all you're going to get. You know, because the Emperor is a very stubborn, but it's also very stern. So the more you are like stuck on in those ways, because it's like, and see the ram in the picture, the more you're stuck in those ways, the more you're going to get of that, instead of letting things and the divine help you. Then we have the High Priestess in reverse clarifying the Nine of Cups. I think it's just not knowing what you want, not really listening to your feelings, your intuition, and kind of like being swept away by just the momentum of it, or the feeling of just now, because moving into February, where we're going to be asked to really plan ahead and like really think long term, with the High Priestess in reversed, you might really find out things that are about certain situation, about like relationships that are no longer serving you, and you're going to let go of that. Then we have the Three of Cups in reverse clarifying the Page of Wands. I think it's kind of, you know, way following suit the High Priestess in reverse and the Nine of Cups in reversed, because it also has to do with community and relationships in general. So it's almost like somebody's going to be like too fiery, and it's going to put like a little bit of a wedge in between your friends, or something might be said that might be like really detrimental to the friend group, I feel like, or the community, that it's just going to be almost like turned upside down, like that whole world, and like there might be just a riff, you know. So be careful how you say and how you like approach that situation, because a lot of things are going to happen really fast afterwards, and you're going to be invited to really cooperate and really be compromising around this time, and not just think about me. And if it happens around the first of the month, or like the first week of the month, where the energy of the Aquarius, it's about me against the world, or it's all about me. And then it's also a very stubborn energy too, where it's like if it's my way or the highway. But you're invited to really think about the whole versus just the one part. And then once you do that, you have the King of Swords clarifying the Five of Cups in reverse. And that's because you, by making up the mind of what you want and by cooperating with people around you, you're going to be able to accept things for what they are, and you know, and people for who they are, and situations for them working out the way they did, and not really be regretful as much. But it could also say something about that maybe somebody is just going to be too harsh in their communication with you, and they're going to be regretting something that you said, or maybe you're going to do that. So be really careful about end of January and beginning the first 2 weeks of February for communication. And then crowning this, we have the Eight of Swords. It's almost like feeling stuck. So I think it's because of this feeling of being stuck, you might be reacting versus really planning your step. So really be careful about your communication around this time and how you move forward, because I mean, there is a potential for you to be successful, for you to, whatever it is that you're going through, be it like work environment, be it personal. And for some of you, it just might be both. It might be like just the job and the, you know, like the friendships just might be so overwhelming around this time that you kind of feel like really stressed about it. But you know that you have people in your corner, and people will come and support you and help you. And if you are looking for a job, you know that you're going to be successful, and it's going to happen pretty quickly for you too, you know, with the Eight of Wands and the King of Pentacles. Then we have, it could also be maybe some of you might be attending some sort of like maybe something to do with achievement. I know, something to do about this bow. Not sure, but I don't know, maybe some like graduation party, or maybe like something like a tournament or something that you're gonna have an award of some sorts. Then we're moving on to the another Eight of Wands, but in reverse, clarifying the High Priestess. So I think this is again reinforcing the message of listening to your gut versus really moving on too quickly towards something, right? Like instead of like rushing in, really listen to and pay attention to all of the signs around you before you make a final move. And then we have the King of Cups in reverse, clarifying the Four of Pentacles. It's an odd pairing because the King of Cups, it's usually about emotions. It's somebody that's very mature, very stable in how they think and how they approach relationships and how they approach their emotions, how they communicate their emotions. But when it's in reverse, I feel like there is this need for, it's going to be a lot of temper tantrums because you're not going to get your own way, because you're going to feel like control is sleeping out of your fingers, and you're just going to be so overwhelmed, and you're so not used to that it's just going to be, for you, it's like going to be a really hard, like emotional time. So be careful of that. Be careful not to overreact. And that could be happening all throughout the month, especially the first half of the month, where there's going to be a lot of energy, a lot of strong forward movement energy, and really fast moving energy. Be careful how you speak. Be careful of how you approach things. Be careful not to be like also a Debbie Downer too. Be careful of your mindset and how you really approach negativity and change, because that would really have an impact on how you move forward. Now let me pull some clarifiers for you, Scorpios. Oh, not clarifiers, I'm sorry. Some oracle cards, and see what else comes through for you. And also know, if some of you are really stuck in your own head, it's just you overthinking things, you know, versus the outside just being, because there is a way out. It's just a matter of how you change your perspective, you know. So it's, you really, and the people will come to your help. People are there to support you. It's just a matter of you reaching out, taking that blindfold, because your hands, if you notice, there is this, her hands are not tied. She's just holding them back. So she can take that blindfold whenever she wants to. It's just, she's choosing not to. So what are you going to choose? You know? Okay, so what's the oracle message for you? Here and now. With the here, I'm going to pull another one. Co-create. So I think with the here and now, it asked me to point to the first row where it's like, if you're just so much more in the moment, and if you really think about the short-term goals, that's what you're going to get, and you're not going to be able to build a foundation, a strong foundation moving forward, even though like in the short term you will be successful, but in the long term you might not. So for some of you too, it's like also be present in your relationship, listen to intuition. And also about choices that you're going to be stuck. Oh my God, there's so many messages coming through for this one. I guess it's going to be a lot of you watching this video that have different situation. And for this one, it's like, are you going to be stuck in the past, or are you going to move forward into the future with more positive outlook, with a more stable outlook, with just like maybe letting go of your ego and letting go of control and letting go of manipulation, letting go of like using your, you know, temper tantrums to control the situation and to get your own way, you know. And then with the co-create, I feel like it's a beautiful card if I look at it. And we have the owl, and we have the lion, the tiger. Not sure, the tiger. It's like, so the owl is very wise, and the tiger is really quick to act, right? So it's like, how do you embrace those two parts of you? How do you embrace those two aspects of your life? Where it's like you want to move forward, and you want to move full steam ahead, right? Like really fast and get things done now. But then with the owl, you think like, oh, maybe you let me observe first. Let me see what's going to happen, and then move ahead, right? And also with the co-create, invited to like really look at these two, because it has to do with your environment too, and how do you cooperate with others? How do you communicate with others? How are you helping your community? How do you ask for help, and how do you accept help from your friends and from your people that surround you, and how you bring that forward into your work environment? So Scorpios, with all of that said, I think it's going to be a really impactful month for you, and I'm really looking forward to see how this is going to pan out for you, and what are the messages that came through for you, and how all of this resonated. And please, if this reading resonated with you, please like the hit button. And because if you do, if more people hit the like button, more other people are going to be able to see this video, because it's going to be bumped up in the ranks, so other people can just like see it more quickly. And then if you want to know what's going to happen for you in the next month, subscribe to my channel. You'll get the notification when the video is out. So I'll leave you with that. That's it for now, and I'll see you in March. Bye, Scorpios.